the Smash Beer Elite Stocks, crown jewel of our competition, here for race 9 and 17, the Foumii's 100 at the New York Autoring. The pole winner was the number 41, driven by Charlie Waters, the second pole of the season. Waters is going to get a big jump on the field, however, Andy Pearson would catch right up to the 41 and pass him coming into turn 3. Following Pearson on the bottom would be the 15 of Baden 4-2 and the 53 of Cody Richards, along with last week's winner, Allie Riggs in the 19. 4-2 would dive to the bottom of Pearson the following lap and take the lead from the 72. Allie Riggs would then attempt to take second from Andy Pearson's number 72, however, she would be challenged by Hinata Hyuga's number 39. Hyuga would get the spot, and Riggs would lose a bunch of positions due to the Super Speedway shuffle. Moments later, Hyuga would be passed by Mike Andrews with teammate Vinny Enzo in tow, and then it was an all-Sierra Motorsports top 3. 4-2, Andrews and Enzo all drive for that organization. However, Andrews was not content with second and decided to just take the lead for himself. Harry Nola's 09 would be a surprise contender early on in the going, taking the lead from Kakashi Hatake going into turn 3, and following him would be the number 48 of Milano Rossini, who's making his Arla debut tonight. Following the 09 and the 48 would be Ricky Navarro in the 34, with defending champion Kurt Walker and qualifying race winner Alex Carson in tow. Carson replaced Junior Hardern in that 8 car as a result of the merge between Sweeney Sport and Pearson Motorsports. Tristan Roberts does not normally run up front in these Smash Beer Elite Stocks races. However, the New York native decided to make every effort to impress his home crowd and took the lead away from Kurt Walker. And then Matt Scarano would take the top spot, and he somehow broke away from the main group and opened up a big lead over everyone else. But then Manuel Ortiz and Scott Hamilton, who moved into the 00 this week, would find a burst of speed, and they quickly overpowered the 16. The first caution would fly on lap 12, much later than everyone expected. Robert Truex, who moved into the 2 car this week, is going to turn Harry Nola into the lower line and collect about 6 cars, including the 72 of Andy Pearson and the 83 of Ryan Bell, who is also making his debut this week. Alex Carson and Milano Rossini were also collected in this incident. A bit further up the track, Kevin Colley in the 08 is going to be spun by the 63 of Kevin Monroe. There he goes, spinning through the tri-oval grass. He's going to bounce back up onto the racetrack, and nobody hits him. However, he did run into the wall, which would throw him off the pace for the rest of the day. There was another incident that occurred on the other side of the racetrack, but it didn't bring out the yellow flag. Vinny Enzo gets into the 32 of Kakashi Hatake and goes hard into the wall. He bounces back up the racetrack and into the wall again. Enzo would take it behind the wall and out of the race. Manuel Ortiz would lead on the restart. There goes Scott Hamilton up on the outside, and then he snakes around to the bottom. He will get on the inside of Manuel Ortiz and take the lead going into turn 1. And then Matt Scarano would work his way into the lead once again, helped by Scott Hamilton's teammate Ryan Baldwell, who does not elect to go with the 00 for some reason. Caution 2 would fly on lap 18. Elizabeth Cargill-Smith is going to get together with Jason Bates and Cody Richards, and she goes hard into the turn 2 wall, and then she collects Roger Chalosky, Charlie Waters, and Ricky Navarro. I think Justin Parker might have gotten a piece of that, I'm not entirely sure. Now let's see what happened with Charlie Waters. There's trouble starting in front of him, and he just slams into the 60 with nowhere to go. Collects the 34. 41 is spinning out. Then he gets hit by the 8, who has no hood on that car. And the 41's streak of bad luck will not end tonight. Brenda Riggs in the 67 would lead on the restart, with Anthony Griffith and Jim Kidd right behind her. However, Kidd would get by Griffith and make a run on the 67 entering turn 3. Allie Riggs chooses not to go with her own mother and stays right behind the 18. However, on lap 26, the third caution of the night would fly. Brenda Riggs is going to be turned around by Neji Hyuga and Michael White. However, this is not what the officials threw the caution for. Mike Andrews, for some reason, dips down onto the apron going into 3, and then he collects about 3 other cars, including Tristan Roberts. Andrews' mistake would also ruin the night of Scott Hamilton, who was having such a great run. Brenda Riggs would also be involved trying to avoid this incident. She goes onto the apron, bounces back up the racetrack, into the wall, and there's the 32 of Kakashi Hatake. This would not be the end of Hatake's woes as well. There's the 67, he slams into her, he spins into the wall and slides back down the racetrack, and there's the 83. The 83 hit him big time. Now here comes the 00, he's making no effort to get out of the way, and he pegs the 32. Luckily, no one was injured, but Scott Hamilton would be called to the hauler. Bob Steffens would lead on the restart with Tommy Piper, Chris Johans, Manuel Ortiz, and Travis Keating rounding out the top 5. This is one of the best runs of Keating's Arla career. Chris Johans would then take the lead from Tommy Piper with some help from Manuel Ortiz and Jim Kidd. And then Hinata Hyuga's car came alive once again. There on the bottom of your screen, you'll see the hood of Mario Franchetti's number 4. And then Allie Riggs would try to pass Franchetti and Hyuga at the same time. However, Hyuga throws the block going into 1. But then Allie Riggs would get together with Hyuga and run her right off the racetrack. 39 skates up the track and the 19 takes the lead. Allie Riggs would be called to the hauler and a penalty is expected. With just a few laps to go, Chris Johans challenged Allie Riggs for the lead, and that's when the final caution of the day flew. Dale Underwood is going to turn Matt Scarano into the 39, turning her around and setting the 16 into the wall, triggering a 10-car wreck. Kevin Monroe, Manuel Ortiz, and Roger Trelosky are involved. Now let's see how Kevin Monroe gets involved. The 03 comes right down in front of him. Kurt Walker gets a piece of that, and Anthony Griffith goes into the wall. The 63 slides down the racetrack. He attempts to turn around, but he will get stuck on the track surface. He would have to be towed to the pits as well as Hinata Hyuga. The caution created a duel to the yellow flag between Allie Riggs and Chris Johans. Johans has the advantage. He's on the bottom, but they both have equal amounts of support. Michael White is behind Johans, and Mario Franchetti is behind Riggs. Riggs and Johans are neck and neck coming off the final turn, but Johans starts an inch ahead coming through the tri-oval, and Johans will lead them to the caution. The officials declared that there would be too few laps to get the wreck cleaned up, and the race would finish under caution, which meant that Chris Johans would take his first win since Laguna Seca of 2006. Allie Riggs finished second, but she will be penalized due to her little skirmish with Hinata Hyuga. Riggs will receive last place points and drop all the way to 16th in the standings. Michael White gets a well-deserved top 5. He has had so many problems this season. Mario Franchetti gets another top 5, and Dale Underwood gets his first top 5 since Indianapolis. Tonight was another good run for Jason Bates and Bruno Battaglia. Teammates Bob Steffens and Anthony Griffith finish 8th and 9th respectively, and Kurt Walker rounds out the top 10. Kurt Walker has not won a race since Nazareth of 2007. I'm surprised he's gone winless so far this season. Now for the top 10 in points, Leslie Riggs finished nowhere near the top 10, yet still remains at the top of the point standings. Jared Anderson remains second, Anthony Griffith moves up to third. The two Kevins remain in the top 5. Mario Franchetti is in 6th, and Matt Scarano continues to run up in the top 10. Even after his win tonight, Chris Johans remains in 8th. Kurt Walker moves up into 9th, and Dale Underwood works his way back up into the top 10. The next race will be the Mortar 100 at the Darlington Raceway. This is CJ, signing off.